Neil, let's talk about what happened in Wisconsin this week with a shooter walking in, opening fire, and then killing himself. Both President Obama and Mitt Romney offered their condolences, but they offered no mention of the need for gun control. How come?
That's right, and this was 17 days after we saw a similar thing happen in Aurora, Colorado. You had Michael Bloomberg, the mayor of New York City, come out and say, sure, these condolences are nice from Mitt Romney and from President Obama, but what about turning their attention and showing some leadership on the issue of gun control? It doesn't look like that's going to happen. And I was looking at a poll. There's a Quinnipiac poll out that came out a couple of days ago that said that most people actually don't think a change in gun control laws would prevent a shooting like this. It was something like 60% who said that gun control laws would have no effect on a shooting like this. But there does seem to be an appetite, at least according to that poll, for there to be some sort of ban on selling these high-powered cartridges and guns. Of course, we remember there was the assault weapons ban that was signed into law in 1994 by Clinton. It sunset, the sunset provision, it went out of law in 2004, and it has found no traction on Capitol Hill. And I think if you're President Obama, you know that there is a sentiment out there among conservatives, true or not, that he has been attempting to curb people's gun rights. There is no evidence that he has really necessarily done that, and he hasn't really done anything in terms of gun control, but there just doesn't seem to be an appetite. And I think after two mass shootings, if that wasn't enough to cause President Obama and Mitt Romney to act, I don't think there could be anything to make that happen.
There is great reason to admire Michael Bloomberg for some of the positions he's taken recently. This one, I think, and also defending the right of people to build a mosque in New York City and so forth. He's been quite courageous on a number of these things. In fairness, he doesn't have to run outside the city of New York. He doesn't have to run statewide, even in New York, let alone get out into rural Pennsylvania, let alone get into the rest of the country.
And he's not running again.
And he's not running for mayor again. So whatever his political ambitions may be, he's building his particular bridge to the future in a very different direction. The rest of the country, the Second Amendment is settled business, and it is settled business for presidential politics and congressional
rifles
politics.
As well, Ron.
Well, on assault weapons, you get into a terrible debate about what is and what isn't an assault weapon, and the NRA is an extraordinarily effective. Some people would say it goes to the point of redefining what successful lobbying is, not just in Washington, but in all 50 state capitals. They hold incredible sway and can pass virtually any legislation they want. Witness things such as stand your ground laws.
And for Democrats, the ghost of 1994, when Republicans took control of the House the first time in the Gingrich era, and 2000, when some people think this was a factor in Al Gore's defeat in his home state of Tennessee, perhaps, in West Virginia, perhaps, struggles in other parts of the country. Is that true? You know, things become legend in politics, but there's a ghost in Democratic politics that you touch gun control at your peril. I think what's frustrating, though, Diane, is Ron mentioned Mayor Bloomberg has been consistent on this. Some thought it was a little crass the day of the Colorado shooting when he was on the radio. I think that was already scheduled, and he stated his opinion. The issue, I think what frustrates people in the country is very complicated. It's 50 complicated pieces of the puzzle, and some people don't want any gun control. Some people want a lot. What's frustrating in the political system is like immigration, like taxes. They can't even have a conversation.
Right.
Could we get everybody down at the table? Maybe Mayor Bloomberg would walk out of a couple weeks of meetings and say, you know what? I don't think a law would have made any difference in these cases. I still would like to ban assault weapons. But you can't even have that conversation. Everything is so polarized. That's what's frustrating.